Please don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon before moving forward. About the exam name is Microsoft Azure Data Fundamentals. It is a multiple choice question based exam. This exam has 40 to 60 questions that you need to complete in 60 minutes. You need to get a score of 700 out of 1000 to pass this exam. Now, moving to the actual questions. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. Descriptive analytics tells you our options are what is most likely to occur in the future, what occurred in the past, which actions you can perform to affect outcomes, why something occurred in the past. Here, the correct answer is second, what occurred in the past. Now, descriptive analytic tells what happened in the past, so B is the right choice. Moving forward, question number 2. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. An extract, transform, and load process requires. Our options are a matching schema in the data source and the data target, a target data store powerful enough to transform data, data that is fully processed before being loaded to the target data store, that the data target be a relational database. Here, the correct answer is option third, data that is fully processed before being loaded to the target data store. Now, extract, transform, and load is a data pipeline used to collect data from various resources, transform the data according to business rules, and load it into a destination data store. Moving forward, question number 3. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. In batch processing, our options are data is always inserted one row at a time, data is processed in real time, latency in delivering data processing results is acceptable, processing can only execute serially. Here, the correct answer is C. Latency in delivering data processing results is acceptable. Now, when we use batch processing, we can expect latencies for many situations. However, this type of delay before the transfer of data begins is not a big issue. The processes that use this function are not mission critical at the exact moment. Moving forward, question number 4. Drag drop. Match the types of analytics that can be used to answer the business questions. To answer, drag the appropriate analytics type from the column on the left to its question on the right. Each analytics type may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. Analytics types: cognitive, diagnostic, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. Answer area. Now, our statements are: why did sales increase in the last month? How do I allocate my budget to buy different inventory items? And which people are mentioned in the company's business documents? Now, for the first statement, the correct answer is diagnostic. For the second statement, the correct answer is prescriptive. For the third statement, the correct answer is descriptive. Now, this is because with the help of diagnostic analytics, we can begin to answer some of those why questions. Historical data can begin to be measured against other data to answer the question of why something happened in the past. This is the process of gathering and interpreting different data sets to identify anomalies, detect patterns, and determine relationships. Box 2. In Box 2, prescriptive analytics is a combination of data, mathematical models, and various business rules to infer actions to influence future desired outcomes. Predictive analytics, broadly speaking, is a category of business intelligence that uses descriptive and predictive variables from the past to analyze and identify the likelihood of an unknown future outcome. Box 3. Descriptive. Now, generally speaking, data analytics comes in 4 types: descriptive, to answer the question, what is happening? Diagnostic, to answer the question, why is happening? Predictive, to answer the question, what will happen? And prescriptive, to answer the question, what should we take? Moving on, question 5. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. The massively parallel processing MPP engine of Azure Synapse Analytics. Our options are distributes processing across compute nodes, distributes processing across control nodes, redirects client connections across multiple compute nodes, redirects client connections across control nodes. Now, here, the correct answer is first, distributes processing across compute nodes. Question 6. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. Dash is an object associated with a table that sorts and stores the data rows in that table based on their key values. Our options are a clustered index, a file table, a foreign key, a stored procedure. The correct answer is a clustered index. Now, clustered indexes sort and store the data rows in the table or view based on their key values. These are the columns included in the index definition. There can be only one clustered index per table because the data rows themselves can be stored in only one order. Question 7. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. A relational database is appropriate for scenarios that involve a high volume of. Our options are changes to relationship between entities, geographically distributed rights, transactional rights, and rights that have varying data structure. The correct answer is transactional rights. Now, the disadvantages of non-relational databases include data consistency. Non-relational databases do not perform ACID transactions. Note, relational databases are optimized for writes. They are optimized for consistency and availability. Advantages of relational databases include simplicity, ease of data retrieval, data integrity, and flexibility. Moving on, question number 8. Hotspot. For each of the following statements, select yes, the statement is true, otherwise, select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our statements are batch processing can output data to a file store. The correct answer is yes. Batch processing can output data to a relational database. Correct answer is yes. Batch processing can output data to a NoSQL database. The correct answer is again yes. Now, in box 1, big data solutions often use long-running batch jobs to filter, aggregate, and otherwise prepare the data for analysis. Usually, these jobs involve reading source files from scalable storage, processing them, and writing the output to new files in scalable storage. In box 3, batch processing can have output to SQL database, Hive, HBase, Spark SQL. Moving on, question number 9. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Hot area. A visualization that shows university's current student enrollment versus the maximum capacity is an example of dash analytics. Our options are cognitive, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. The correct option is second, descriptive. Now, again, generally speaking, data analytics comes in 4 types. Descriptive, to answer the question what is happening, diagnostic, to answer the question why is happening, predictive, to answer the question what will happen, and prescriptive, to answer the question what action should we take. Moving on, question number 10. Drag drop. Match the types of visualizations to the appropriate descriptions. To answer, drag the appropriate visualization type from the column on the left to its description on the right. Each visualization type may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. The visualizations are: first is key influencer, second is scatter, and third is a tree map. Now, moving to the answer area, our statements are a chart of colored nested rectangles that displays individual data points represented by the size and color of a relative rectangle. The correct answer is tree map. A chart that displays the major contributors of a selected result or value. The correct answer is a key influencer. A chart that shows the relationship between two numerical values. The correct answer is a scatter. Now, in box 1, tree maps are charts of colored rectangles with size representing value. They can be hierarchical with rectangles nested within the main rectangles. In box 2, a key influencer chart displays the major contributors to a selected result or value. In box 3, scatter and bubble charts display relationships between 2 or 3 quantitative measures, whether or not, in which order, etc. Question 11. You need to create an Azure storage account. Data in the account must replicate outside the Azure region automatically. Which two types of replication can you use for the storage account? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Zone redundant storage, B. Read access geo redundant storage, C. Local redundant storage, and D. Geo redundant storage. Now, the correct options are B and D. Now, Azure Storage offers two options for copying your data to a secondary region: geo-redundant storage and geo-zone redundant storage. With GRS or GZRS, the data in the secondary region isn't available for read or write access unless there is a failover to the secondary region. For read access to the secondary region, configure your storage account to use read access geo-redundant storage or read access geo-zone redundant storage. Moving on, question number 12. Which statement is an example of data manipulation language? A. Revoke, B. Disable, C. Insert, or D. Grant. The correct option is C. Insert. Now, data manipulation language affect the information stored in the database. Use these statements to insert, update, and change the rows in the database. Bulk insert, delete, insert, select, update, and merge. Now, moving forward, question number 13. You have a SQL query that combines customer data and order data. The query includes calculated columns. You need to create a database object that would allow other users to rerun the same SQL query. What should you create? A. An index, B. An view, C. A scalar function, and D. A table. The correct option is B. A view. Now, a view is a virtual table whose contents are defined by a query. A view acts as a filter on the underlying tables referenced in the view. The query that defines the view can be from one or more tables or from other views in the current or other databases. Moving on, question number 14. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. It is an hotspot question. Answer area: a key value data store is optimized for. Our options are enforcing constraints, simple lookups, table joins, or transactions. The correct answer is simple lookups. Now, a key value store associates each data value with a unique key. Most key value stores only support simple query, insert, and delete operations. To modify a value, an application must override the existing data for the entire value. In most implementations, reading or writing a single value is an atomic operation. An application can store arbitrary data as a set of values. Any schema information must be provided by the application. The key value store simply retrieves or stores the value by key. Moving on, question 15. Drag drop. Match the types of data to the appropriate Azure data services. To answer, drag the appropriate data type from the column on the left to its service on the right. Each data type may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. Now, the data types given are image files, key value pairs, and relationship between employees. Moving to the answer area, our first statement is Azure Blob Storage. Now, image files are used in this data service. Moving on to the second statement, Azure Cosmos DB Gremlin API. Now, relationship between employees is used in this type of data service. Moving on to the last statement, Azure Stable Storage. Now, key value pairs are used in this data service. Moving on to question number 16. Drag drop. Match the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 terms to the appropriate levels in the hierarchy. To answer, drag the appropriate term from the column on the left to its level on the right. Each term may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. Select and place. The terms are Azure Storage Account, File Share, and Container. Now, moving to the answer area. Now, Azure Resource Group, and then the term there will be a Azure Storage Account. After that, it would be a container, then to the folders, and then to the files. Now, Azure file shares are deployed into storage accounts, which are top-level objects that represent a shared pool of storage. Moving to the next question. Question number 17. What are two characteristics of real-time data processing? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Data is processed periodically. B. Low latency is expected. C. High latency is expected. D. Data is processed as it is created. The correct answer is B and D. Now, real-time processing deals with streams of data that are captured in real time and processed with minimal latency to generate real-time reports or automated responses. Moving to the next question. Question number 18. A company plans to load data from a customer relationship management system to a data warehouse by using an extract, load, and transform process. Where does data processing occur for each stage of ELT process? To answer, drag the appropriate locations to the correct stages. Each location may be used once, more than once, or not at all. You may need to drag the split bar between panes or scroll to view content. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Now, the locations given to us are the standalone data analysis tool, the CRM system, and the data warehouse. Now, moving to the answer area. Extract, for that, we use the CRM system. Load, for that, the data warehouse is used. And for transform, the data warehouse is used. Now, in box 1, data is extracted from the CRM system. Then it is loaded to the data warehouse. Extract, load, and transform differs from ETL solely in where the transformation takes place. In the ELT pipeline, the transformation occurs in the target data store. Instead of using a separate transformation engine, the processing capabilities of the target data store are used to transform data. In practice, the target data store is a data warehouse using either a Hadoop cluster or a SQL dedicated pools on Azure Synapse Analytics. Moving to the next question. Question 19. Your company recently reported sales from the third quarter. You have the chart shown in the following exhibit. Which type of analysis is shown in the fourth quarter? A. Predictive, B. Prescriptive, C. Descriptive, or D. Diagnostic? Here, the correct answer is A. Predictive. Now, predictive is used to answer the question, what will happen? Moving on, question number 20. Which statement is an example of data manipulation language? A. Revoke, B. Disable, C. Create, or D. Update? Here, the correct answer is D. Update. Now, data manipulation language affect the information stored in the database. Use these statements to insert, update, and change the rows in the database. Bulk insert, delete, insert, select, update, merge. There are 3 types of relational data: DDL, TML, TCL, and also there is TCL. Moving to the next question. Question 21. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. Creating closed caption text for audio files is an example of dash analytics. Our options are cognitive, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. The correct answer for this is descriptive. Now again, descriptive is used to answer the question, what is happening? Going to the next question. Question 22. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. An extract, load, and transform process requires. Our options are a separate transformation engine, a target data store powerful enough to transform data that is fully processed before being loaded to the target data store, or a data pipeline that includes a transformation engine. The correct answer is second, a target data store powerful enough to transform data. Now with ELT, the data store used to perform the transformation is the same data store where the data is ultimately consumed. Moving on, question number 23. You need to create an Azure resource to store data in Azure Table Storage. Which command should you run? Our options are A. AZ Storage Share Center, B. AZ Storage Account Create, C. AZ Cosmos DB Create, or D. AZ Storage Container Create. The correct option is B. AZ Storage Account Create. Now, due to no AZ storage table created in the selection, the best answer is B. Create Storage Account. Question 24. You need to modify a view in a relational database by adding a new column. Which statement should you use? Our options are A. Merge, B. Alter, C. Insert, and D. Update. The correct option is B. Alter. To modify a view means to alter a view. Question 25. Hotspot. You plan to deploy a PostgreSQL database to Azure. Which hosting model corresponds to the available deployment options? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Answer area. The first statement is PostgreSQL on Azure virtual machines. Our options are Infrastructure as a Service, Platform as a Service, and Software as a Service. The correct option is the first, Infrastructure as a Service. Moving on to the second statement, Azure Database for PostgreSQL. Our options are Infrastructure as a Service, Platform as a Service, and Software as a Service. The correct option is Platform as a Service. Now, in the question, it is said that virtual machines are used, hence, Infrastructure as a Service. Moving on, question 26. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Dash natively support the analysis of relationship between entities. Our options are column family databases, document databases, graph databases, and key value stores. The correct option is graph databases. Graph databases can efficiently perform queries across the network of nodes and edges and analyze the relationship between entities. Moving on, question number 27. Which Azure storage solution provides native support for POSIX complaint access control lists? Our options are Azure Table Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Queue Storage, and Azure Files. Now, the correct option is B, Azure Data Lake Storage. Moving on, question number 28. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. Relation data is stored in. Our options are a file system as unstructured data, a hierarchical folder structure, a tabular form of rows and columns, or comma separated value, that is CSV files. Now, the correct option is C, a tabular form of rows and columns. Moving on, question 29. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. Dash physically sorts the data in a table based on the values in a specified column. Our options are a view, a clustered index, a stored procedure, or a non-clustered index. The correct option is B, a clustered index. Moving on, question 30. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Answer area. A block of code that runs in a database is called. Our options are a stored procedure, a table, a view, an index. The correct option is a stored procedure. Now, to question 31. Which type of database is Azure database for PostgreSQL? Our options are A, Platform as a Service, B, Infrastructure as a Service, C, Microsoft SQL Server, D, on-premises. Now, the correct answer to this question is A, Platform as a Service. Moving on, question number 32. Which storage solution supports access control lists at the file and folder level? Our options are A, Azure Data Lake Storage, B, Azure Queue Storage, C, Azure Blob Storage, and D, Azure Cosmos DB. Now, the correct answer is A, Azure Data Lake Storage. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 implements an access control model that supports both Azure role-based access control and POSIX-like access control lists. Moving on, question 33. What is a characteristic of batch processing? A. The data ingested during batch processing must be processed as soon as the data is received. B. Large datasets must be split into batches of less than 1 GB before the data can be processed. C. There is a noticeable time delay between ingesting data and obtaining the data processing results. Or C or D. Batch processing can only process data that is structured. Now, the correct answer is C. There is a noticeable time delay between ingesting data and obtaining the data processing results. Batch processing can process both structured and unstructured data. Moving on, question number 34. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Answer area. In a relational database, each row in a table has, our options are, a different set of columns, a key value pair, the same set of columns, or unstructured data. Now, the correct answer is the same set of columns. Now, in a relational database, a row is a data record within a table. Each row, which represents a complete record of specific item data, holds different data within the same structure. A row is occasionally referred to as a tuple. Moving on, question 35. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Dash natively supports the analysis of relationship between entities. Our options are column family databases, document databases, graph databases, or key value stores. Now, the correct answer to this question is graph databases. A graph database stores two types of information, nodes and edges. Edges specify relationship between nodes. Nodes and edges can have properties that provide information about that node or edge, similar to columns in a table. Edges can also have a direction indicating the nature of the relationship. Question 36. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Answer area. In an infrastructure as a service instance of Microsoft SQL Server on Azure, you manage the dash that hosts SQL Server. Our options are Elastic Pool, MySQL Server, PostgreSQL Server, or Virtual Machine. Now, the correct answer is the Virtual Machine. SQL Server on Azure VM falls into the industry category infrastructure as a service and allows you to run SQL Server inside a fully managed virtual machine in Azure. The most significant difference from SQL database and SQL managed instance is that SQL Server on Azure virtual machines allows full control over the database engine. You can start when to start maintenance, patching, change the recovery model to simple or bulk, logged, pause or start the service when needed, and you can fully customize the SQL Server database engine. Moving on, question 37. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Answer area. A key value data store is optimized for. Our options are enforcing constraints, simple lookups, table joins. Now, the correct answer is simple lookups. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Answer area. Varying fields for each entity in a JSON document is an example of. Our options are relational data, semi-structured data, structured data, or unstructured data. Now, the correct answer here is a semi-structured data. For some semi-structured data formats, example JSON, data sets are frequently a simple concatenation of multiple documents. Moving on, question 39. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Answer area. A JSON document is an example of. Our options are graph data, relational data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data. Now, the correct answer is third, semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. Now, it is a bridge between structured and unstructured data. It does not have a predefined data model and is more complex than structured data, yet easier to store than unstructured data. Moving on, question 40. Which property of a transactional workload guarantees that each transaction is treated as a single unit that either succeeds completely or fails completely? A. Atomicity, B. Isolation, C. Durability, and D. Consistency. Now, the correct answer is A. Atomicity. Now, this is because the purpose of making transaction atomic is to prevent different transactions from interfering with one another. This can only happen if more than one user process is trying to access the database at the same time, as when a server allows several clients to use it concurrently. The simplest way to enforce atomicity is for the DBMS to refuse to start any transaction until the previous one has committed.